Hello parents, I'm Mr. Howard Yu. Today I'd like to share with you some commonly made mistakes in heat questions in the P4 as well as P6 questions. As you can see here, I'm reviewing these questions, some of the common mistakes in heat open-ended questions. As you can read here, Yi Qing placed identical kettles A and B containing the same amount of water at the same temperature on different plates. So this is the diagram. So there's kettle A, kettle B, and there are metal with gaps here. So I would like students to highlight this by circling it. And let's look at the temperature time graph. So this is the axis representing temperature. 100 degrees is the boiling point and the time in minutes. As you can see from this figure, this graph, the water in kettle A reaches the boiling point earlier than in kettle B. So this is one distinct feature which the student must be able to detect. So look at this commonly made mistake by this student. The question is, the heat supplied to both plates in figure P is the same. Based on figure P, explain why the water in kettle A was heated up faster than the water in kettle B. So you look at this question here. There are metal with gaps here. So the student answered by saying, kettle A had a bigger surface area than kettle B. So by just looking at this, it's technically wrong because both kettles are identical. So they have the same surface area. What the student lack is, this part is missing. Kettle A had a bigger surface area in contact with the hot plate. So this is the heating plate or the hot plate. As you can see, there are gaps. So in other words, the kettle A here has more surface area in contact with this heating plate than in here because of the presence of air gaps. So the student will lose half mark if we use linear marking. If the marking is strict, the student will get 0 mark. Okay, let's see the next question. It's the same question by another student. So this student answered by saying, there are no gaps in the metal plate of kettle A, so no air can enter. Air is a poor conductor of heat that slows down heat gain, so the water in kettle A would gain heat faster. Okay, here actually there's a linear marking being administered. Because air is a poor conductor of heat, factually is correct. And indeed, actually, if you examine the questions, because of the presence of air, if I enlarge it, so technically the child is actually answering correctly. Because of this air gap, the heat from the heating plate is not so easily conducted to the kettle. So actually, if you examine these questions, air is a poor conductor of heat that slows down heat gain, so the water in kettle A would gain heat faster. Okay, actually in this answer from here to here, the answer is not so perfect because if you examine, the student actually explained air is a poor conductor of heat, it slows down heat gain. He or she is actually referring to kettle B. But when she formed the conclusion, she formed for kettle A. So instead, because the student should answer why kettle A heat up faster. So to improve this question, they should say that air is a poor conductor of heat that slows down heat gain, so the water in kettle B gain heat slower than in kettle A. Hence, the water in kettle A boils faster. So this is one possible answer. And let's look at another wrong answer by this student. The student mentioned the metal plate which holds kettle B has air spaces in between which are cooler temperature. So this part is a wrong concept. We don't talk about cooler temperature. Okay, so finally, this is the model answer that PSLE marking is expected. So the child should put, or the candidate should put, kettle A has a greater surface area in contact with a heating plate than Kata B. So comparison is made. So what happened to this comparison? There will be a conclusive evidence. Therefore, Kata A can gain heat faster from the heating plate, hence heating up the water faster. And this will be awarded the full 2 marks in PSLE marking. Okay, do take note, this topic is also being taught and being tested in P4 because heat topic is an important topic in P4 together with the other topic is matter. So once again, I like to invite you to consider joining One Academy for my coaching, specifically to answer open-ended questions with confidence. So I'm Mr. Howard Yu. Once again, thank you every one of you for staying in tune to listen to my explanation from One Academy. Stay safe, God bless, and take care.